Hello and welcome everyone to another game of competitive Scythe. This is Joy Division and today I'll be talking you through Polania. I'm in a 3-player game. My opponents are Rusviet and Saxony. I have the agricultural board and I believe Saxony's on engineering and Rusviet is on patriotic. So when it comes to playing Polania well, you're going to have to be flexible with your openings and your turn orders because you're able to go a lot of different directions depending on what encounters you find. I have this, if you look at the bottom of the screen, you'll be able to see the board I'm dealing with is 2 oil for a remove to upgrade. So I did trade for 2 oil turn 1, move turn 2. I'm going to trade again. That way on turn 4, I'll be getting an encounter and my second upgrade. Sometimes I move right away, so I get to the encounter faster, but this is a consistent way to make sure, even if I have some bad luck, I'll still be able to pump out mechs, which gets me on the board. Now my win condition here is very simple. I want to win by finishing fast and spreading early. So finish fast, spread early. That's my game plan. My economy perspective is technically like a route I could choose, but it's much weaker compared to Rusviet, who will be able to beat me in that game every time. So I want to get out on the board early and I want to finish fast. This means I'm going to try to limit the number of produces I need to make. So produce is over build. I don't want to build buildings. That means I just want to get the workers. So the produce action will get me a star, but just 1 star. I'm not going for buildings. For that reason, I want to produce as few times as possible, but I'd also like to plan out how I can get the resources I need at the same time. So here's the first big moment. I'm moving to this encounter. I have an upgrade to spend afterwards, so that can influence what I take here. Okay. So I'm going to build a building for sure, and I'm going to gain 2 resources. I need to get some mechs, so I know I need metal, and I'm going to build a structure, but it's not what you think it's going to be. So most people go for the mine here, and then they make their speed mech, and then they move out. But I need 2 mechs, and I need a factory card. So I can accept the worker, and I can take the building and take some metal. That's going to be my plan here. And I want you to think about why. So why do you think I'm going to build... why do you think I build the building that I'm going to make? I already know what I'm going to pick, but I'm guessing like a lot of you won't. It all has to do with production. So how do I get to 8 workers, and how do I also get enough food to get me that star? So just to fill you in on the plan here, my bolster action is going to provide me the enlist star and the power star. That's 2. I'm planning to get workers, and I might get 4 mechs. Definitely going to get 2 mechs, maybe 4, we'll see. Other than that, I just need some fights and my objective. So this is a great setup. I've got 3 workers and a mill. This means I can finish my workers in 2 produces, but I can also get a ton of food in 2 produces. So I can get the star and also get enough material to work on my other stars. If I didn't get the mill and I didn't pick up a worker, I would be able to still finish that worker star in 2 rounds of production, but I would have no resources to spare. So this is why I chose to go that route. I'm trading. I now can focus on food. I don't need to trade for extra metal anymore since I was able to upgrade twice. So I'm just gonna focus on getting the materials I need for my enlistments. If we think about what's gonna happen the next few rounds, right, it's already round 6. Saxony's gearing up to be able to produce enough metal to get some mechs out there. And then you have Rusviet, who is on the Patriotic board, which is very powerful late game, but very slow early game. So my main objective starting out here is going to be to try and disrupt them if I can. They're already at the farm, which means they're going to start enlisting soon, but this is their vulnerable position because they don't have enough metal to make another mech, and they don't have speed yet. So if I can take their metal away, or at least make them spend some extra turns defending it, I've done a great job and kind of furthered my win condition of finishing fast, right? Because fast is relative to your opponent. If Rusviet Patriotic takes 2 extra turns to get out to the middle of the board, I'm allowed a little leniency with my star plan. Okay, so now I have 7 workers, and I have 2 mechs. This is perfect because I can get to the factory now, and I can set up for my final produce, which is going to yield me that worker star and a ton of food. That way I'll be able to finish enlisting no matter what luck I get with the factory or future encounters. Okay, looking at Saxony, this is actually the second time they've been able to do like an enlistment off of food. So they took the food. That means they're going to take an enlist, which is scary for us. Saxony engineering is usually pretty weak, but they already have 2 enlistments, which is really rare. So hopefully it's not an issue, but it might be a close game. Okay. You're looking at my movement here. I want to put 1 mech on the lake so that I can take advantage of Submerge plus my factory movement, or Submerge plus regular movement. This makes certain spaces really threatening, like home base production tiles, also known as Rusviet's metal tile. Wow, okay, so all of these factory cards are amazing. In fact, it might be worth it to pause it right now and talk about like why I'm going to choose what I choose, because this is not an easy decision, and I think most people will overlook what's going into it here. Every single one of these cards is very, very strong for a factory card, but which one of these do you think will help me the most, right? So, and it's counterintuitive here. You could argue for a couple, but I'm going to choose the 2 coins for an enlist. And that seems strange at first because I'm about to produce a ton of food. But if you're looking at cutting down your turns, this card is the best card because now I can bolster to enlist and then factory card to enlist back-to-back turns. That's saving me a full round compared to bolstering and then using a different factory card, which just gets me popularity or gets me a card and some power. I already know I'm going to make it to 16 with power, so this is the best one to pick for my game plan. My game plan is to win before the other players are ready for me to win, and that means they haven't really left their bases yet. Hopefully Saxony doesn't throw a wrench in that plan. They're already, on those wood tiles, but they haven't made it to tunnels yet, so I feel okay about this. The decision here is, do I move or do I produce? So moving can get me onto Rusviet's metal, but it's probably not worth it for me because I don't need the metal. So I'm going to produce, finish my worker off, and that way on my next move I can spread. And that's also part of my win condition, is like holding the central territories. If I take the central territories before the other players are ready to move, it's going to make their moves slower because they have to knock my workers away. Okay, so we're doing all right. We have it's already round 9. We have 3 coins, so we're hanging in there. But we do have all the food we need. We have a good factory card, and we're ready to cause some havoc here. Unfortunately, Rusviet was able to get some extra metal, and they finished a mech, so they built their speed mech. But we can still slow them down a lot by taking their encounter away. So I think that's what I'm going to go for here. Is I'll get my first enlistment via the factory card, and I'm going to take their oil encounter. This means that even if they come fight me, there will be nothing to gain there. Okay, that's pretty good actually. I'll take the upgrade and 2 resources. This is actually really interesting. So I don't need the upgrade. Like I don't need, so I can double upgrade right now. I can take this upgrade I'm currently doing and then I can take 2 oil. Or I could just not take anything because both of my neighbors have the enlistment bonus for upgrading. I'm gonna get power all by myself, like I'm gonna be fine. This is probably questionable, but I'm just gonna dismiss the resources. Hopefully that doesn't bite me, but I think it'll be okay. And the reason I say that is I'm gonna get like 9 power off of bolstering, at least. It's gonna be fine. I don't need to bump them up 1 each too, because while I want the power star, I don't necessarily want my opponents to get the power star. Okay, so we did our best to slow down Rusviet. They have to think about, will we attack them, will we not attack them? We're not going to, but us being there will do the job for us. And now we just need to move around. So I need to take my workers outside my base, spread them out. Saxony hasn't left yet, so now is the perfect time to claim some territory. I'm going to hold down my 2 base tiles. I'm going to spread out a ton of workers over the tunnels. So my objective that I'm going for is population advantage. I don't want it to be super obvious, and I wouldn't expect people to pick up on it, but the village tile is the perfect tile to end on with that move. And another encounter. Ooh, too bad we couldn't have just 1 more coin, but so it goes. I feel good about this. I've got a lot of power and coin coming my way with my bolsters, so that'll help mitigate like the terrible economy that I've set up compared to my opponents. And really, it's round 11, but we're pretty close to being done. I know it doesn't look like it, but we've already got 8 workers and we've already finished producing for resources. So we've got like the food we need. We've got power is like halfway there. And we're 2 trades away from a mech star if we need that. The thing we'll have to keep an eye out for is where we can get some opportunistic combats. I suppose that won't happen until we get 16 power, but if we find a way to win just by spending our cards, we got 2 really good cards to start the game off, I would definitely do that. Alright, Saxony just moved. That means they can't move next turn, so I'm safe to bolster here. I'm going to bolster for coin, because I'm almost out of coin. And I'm going to take a look at Rusviet. Rusviet's going to bump themselves up to 8 workers and get a star. They also have some metal coming in. I think I'm okay. Like as soon as Rusviet gets township, I have to kind of worry. I want to like hold down that factory so that's a penalty for them to take it. They should not be allowed to like step on the factory and keep all their popularity this game. Okay, so if I use my factory card instead of a regular move, I'm only 1 bolster away from a power star. I think that's a good move here. Alternatively, I could just trade for a mech. Yeah, because if I trade for a mech now, I will be much less appetizing to hit on that village tunnel. So I'm going to deter Saxony by just putting a mech on that village tunnel. I'm also going to be able to spread much more rapidly with 2 mechs where all my workers are. So I think that's the move here. It's a good defensive play, and it will maybe encourage Saxony to pick up a factory card or an encounter instead of a combat star. Okay, there's township, so just in time for us to move. Oh, we kind of have to bolster though. Yeah, I think we have to bolster. If Saxony gives us a power here from the upgrade, we've got to bolster. Okay, they built. So we're so close. Yeah. We're getting our third enlist. We're up to 15 power. We're going to wait and see if Saxony moves, and then it's our turn to move. We can use our factory card to get a star and pick up a combat at the same time, and then look to end the game with a move after that. So if we get attacked here, we will not be spending any power. I'm checking if Saxony does not have disarm. Okay, so we're good. Yeah, it's an interesting game. Everyone's high power, and they probably plan on getting all the power. All right, there was disarm, so we have got to move. I'm finishing my enlists and the power star at the same time. I'm using that nifty factory card, and I'm going to spend some power here. This is also nice because it helps me complete my objective. You're going to see me sneak into Saxony's base and claim 2 villages. So mech goes tunnel to tunnel, then I walk to the village, and then I attack the village. So I need to win this fight. I'm going to spend 12, and it's worth it. I've already got the power star, don't need power, and I'll be above 7 even after this. Okay, so 12 it is. They spend nothing. Makes sense, though. All right, I'm not going to turn my objective in. If people see that I have 5 stars, it really changes what they're going to do. So, for example, they would definitely knock me down, try to disrupt me, but they don't know that I have my objective in the bag. So that's good news for me. I can hold that. I just have to make sure I don't get knocked off of 2 villages because I currently have 4. All right, Rusviet feels safe enough to get their 4th mech instead of move. That is great news. They're not going to get a chance to move. Saxony is hopefully looking at their last turn here. I have a feeling I'm going to get attacked, though. If they attack me on the village tunnel, I have to defend because I need to be able to spread from that position to win the game. So we'll see where else they move, but I might be throwing a risky 12 first combat. We'll see. Yeah, it's tough. You want to get the factory card if you're Saxony. You want to hold the factory, but you also want those combats. I think attacking me once shows that you're probably going to attack me twice. Okay, then they move to the tunnel. Disarm knocks me down to 7, which is key. It would be really bad if I was at 7 and then got knocked down to 5, for example. Okay, the tunnel combat is first. I need to win this because it's a huge point swing if I don't. Being able to spread from there is huge. So I'm throwing 12. Hopefully they do not throw 12. I think their best case scenario is, ooh, they threw medium, so that's tough. I win that fight, that's clutch. That's the game, really. I can lose this next one, no problem. I still have my 3 village tiles, and I'm able to spread to finish. So, yeah, move action coming up. Claim the factory as a bonus, and that should be game. 16 turns wasn't the fastest, but you have to acknowledge that a lot of the moves we did make helped slow the game down for the other players. Taking Rusviet's encounter, hiding our 5th star. You don't expect Patriotic and Saxony Engineering to play the fastest anyway, but this is a good round rush finish to Polania Agricultural. We'll see the stars come in here, but there's no way we're going to lose with the spread we have. So a massive amount of territories. I think it was 13 there. It's going to be hard to beat, even though we have 0 coin. All right, that's Polania Agricultural. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.